Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Funkoverse unboxing. This is for the Rick and Morty 2-pack set. So of course we're going to have some Inker Portal shenanigans. Check out the how to play video if you want to know more about what's in the instruction book. I go through them. But for now, we're just going to hop right into the game and see what we got. So first thing we always like to do, of course, here we got Morty and Rick. The title characters. So if you don't know now, we just go through all of our generic or all our stuff that's in every box. So we got our 2 cooldown counters. Of course, we're gonna have the 6 dice, which are going to have your challenge side, which is a starburst, your defense side, which is shield, and your crit, which is the exclamation points. You're going to get your double-sided leader marker, first player marker, your 4 exhaust tokens, 1 for each of the pops, 2 for the generic characters, which this set we get a robot and an alien. You don't get terribly much more generic than that if you're talking sci-fi. We have our 4-point tokens, which have our numbers or letters on the back. We have our control squares. And we have our flags and stars for the flags and leaders section. And then, of course, we're going to get our 11 points tokens. And then we'll get some skill tokens to go with that too. So we got some yellows, some reds, some yellows, some more yellows, because Rick is really controlling. So there we go. That is all of our just generic, everyday content. We're going to scooch all of this out of the way. Move our gentleman off to the side, and then we can look at our maps. Let's get into the more interesting stuff. I don't like to spend a lot of time with tokens. So, actually, we're going to start on the smaller of the 2 maps. Be the more recognizable one. So, Rick and Morty don't have a lot of, I don't want to say memorable locations. They have a lot of memorable locations. They don't have a lot of locations that they spend a lot of time at. I mean, there's a couple of times they're in school. Well, they're usually traveling to different worlds or different realms or whatever. So they don't really spend a lot of time in one area. Outside of the Sanchez house. Or the Smith house. I'm sorry. Sanchez is Rick's name. So it's the Smith house. Morty's house. So here we're going to have their house. It's kind of laid out. Compared to like some of the other houses and buildings in some of the other games, this is maybe a little bit smaller. I think like if I compare it to like, because it's on a smaller board, but I'm thinking compared to like maybe like the Arkham and the Batman, they're like, each cell was like, I think 4 or 6 tiles, or like the Golden Girls set has a full house in there. Not the full house, but they have a map that's their house, and like every room is like 6. And here it's like their dining room's 4 spaces, bedrooms like 4 spaces. And they kind of condensed it because this is their starting map. I guess personally I would prefer this to be the bigger side, and the other one to maybe be smaller, maybe less details and stuff, just because this is more of the iconic area. But you get the garage, you get a couple of different rooms. So that's neat. I also like this is not a directly asymmetrical map, because I kind of get bored with that. So what I mean asymmetrical is you look at one side to the other, everything's the exact same. So you have a big open garage here, and a little tiny spot. So if it was symmetrical, I keep saying asymmetrical, I just mean it's not symmetrical. Because if it was that, then on this side you'd have a big open one over here, and then a small square here. But instead you have a little garden here, you can walk down the holes here, you got 2 little rooms, You got 2 rooms right here, which you can cross through, and then there's 2 exits here. But these 2 aren't connected. This one, these 2 you can only get through from this space. So it kind of adds some interesting gameplay value for playing different stuff. So speaking of that, let's see what our scenarios are. We, of course, have the leaders. This is actually very different. So the starting areas in each one are fairly close. But the leaders start in their starting areas. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually the leaders start somewhere else. That's kind of neat. And then the points are kind of all scattered. Yeah, and so that's kind of neat. So like one guy starts here, and they have a point marker down here, so they can go right to that one if they need to. Otherwise, the other one's in the house, so they could go around and get to the house. And it's kind of then they have access to this one, and the other character starts here, so they can get to see. And then they have one that's kind of locked off. It's kind of neat. So they have 2 of them that are sort of locked off from the other one, without a lot of extra effort. That's definitely neat. A little bit very different way to play this. And then the other one is flags. This is capture the flags. So they're in close to the same starting areas. Why aren't you focusing, camera? And the tokens are kind of spread. But again, because this isn't the same map, everything's a little all over the place. But yeah, that actually makes this makes flags a little bit more interesting, because like you can kind of go this way, or do you go this? Because if you go down here, you're trapped. You go up here, so you're kind of fighting in this middle area. Yeah, so that's neat. I like that. Alright, so then let's look at the house. So let's look at Rick's lab. So this will probably have a bunch of stuff from the show. I'm not going to be able to mention every single one, so I won't remember all of them. Ooh. The way this board is set up, this is hard to hold up here and point. But we, of course, have the portal gun here. We have Snowball's helmet. There's a Mr. Meeksy's box. There's a pickle down here, which is like a pickleish with a holster. So that'd be kind of like, I'm guessing, a reference to Pickle Rick. Skull, there's a mace. I'm sure like there's other things in here I'm not referencing. Looks like there's an old school portal gun. But yeah, this definitely could have been like a much cooler map if this would have been like, this portion of his garage would have been like a full section. You could add a lot more stuff in there. There's his ship outside. Nope. I'm trying to see if I can read what those are, but they're not quite English. Alright, so we're going to go over here. So we have some of the rooms. I want to say that's Morty's room, just based on the fact that it's a mess. But I'm not for sure. Scoot over, we have the living room. There's the breakfast table. Kind of wish the little butter robot was on there. The sink, so some food, like nothing like really standing out that I'm seeing. Odd that there's just a knife laying out on the table. That's actually hilarious that they have the graves for Rick and Morty in the backyard, that they added that as a detail. I gotta love that. Family pictures, there's the TV. And that's nice. Their interdimensional cable box there. There's another little living room area. I didn't realize they had 2 different TV areas, unless that's where like Jerry stays. I'm not for sure, because they only have 2 bedrooms on here. So it's, again, I think there might be like an upstairs to the house or something. I'm not sure, but like, again, if this was a full map, they could have had a lot more cool detail. So let's look at what they did with the full map. Here we're going to have Blitz and Chips, which is the arcade, which I know was at least in 1 episode. I don't know if it ever made a reappearance, which is why I thought, again, I find it weird that here's your full map as something that appeared as part of a full episode, and it wasn't even like they spent the episode walking around doing stuff in there. It was just a set piece they were at. So Just, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think the house would have been a better idea, and this could have been shrunk down to a smaller one. But that's just me. Alright, what can we do in here? So we have control. So each player starts in one controller. They have control spots they have to get to and interact with. Basically cross the map. If we do look at this map, this is the more asymmetrical I was talking about. So you have your... So if you split it down the middle here, or symmetrical, I keep probably saying the wrong one. But yeah, this zigzag, same side there. You have two lines on the outside there. One's that way, one's that direction. It's the opposite on this side. You have your borders. So so you're playing this. If you split this map down the middle, each player has the same sideboard. And then the other one's territory, which just flips into the other side. And you want to try and control that middle area. Alright. Not a lot on that. Let's take a look. It doesn't look like there's a lot of extra details on here. But we will see what they have. So we have some various games here. We have Roy, the VR simulator game, which is what the episode is based around. Again, like I said, they're in this area, but they didn't spend time like going around and doing stuff. They're basically just in that VR game. Yeah, just generic arcade, like, you know, because they don't put characters on these boards, it's not even like populated. That's the other thing that was interesting about that, was seeing the different aliens and stuff like that. There's the logo, Blips and Chits. Again, just a bunch more arcade games. And because they're all called, you know, like arcade or classic, it's just sort of like, this is a generic arcade. It doesn't seem like a spacey arcade or anything like that. And there's Roy 2. So it's alright. I definitely think it could have been a better set of boards for this game. But I'm not in charge of that. Alright, let's look at our characters. That's what we all came to see. So we're going to start with Morty. Morty Smith. I like he's like super angry in this picture. But then his actual miniature, he's just sad. He got his hand out to hold an item. So we have Moral Compass. Morty adds an extra yellow to your ability token pool at the start of the game, as shown on the dots on the right. So it's showing that he gets 2 yellows and a red. I don't know about this. Yeah, it's a terrible Morty impression. Move 2, Morty may do an interact or an assist action. Nice. Just move and then do something for free. We're not spending extra action. Get it together. Take an ability token from your cooldown track and put it in your ability pool. Nice. So he can get his other yellow one back, or he can get his red one back. And then challenge, or a violent outburst. Challenge 4. Morty can activate this ability if a yellow token is in your ability pool. Interesting. Because both of his other 2 are yellow, so he almost has to wait till his other ones stop being used, to use it. But if you use, like, the 2 and then the 3, you could always use that. You actually probably have to rely on other people if you really want him to be super effective. Use other characters to reduce his stuff. Then we forgot to do, which I always do first, and I don't know why I forgot today, or this video, but we got a robot and an alien. Just your generic ones, nothing extra special. Alright, so that was Morty. We're gonna look at Rick here, but before we actually look at Rick's card, we're gonna look at his item. So here's Rick. Of course, he's got his little spittle on his chest as well, but he has his portal gun. I do wish they actually put some color into this. Like, most of the objects don't have a ton of detail on them. They're just usually, like, one color, especially the earlier ones. Some of the later ones at least get 2 colors, but yeah, they could have at least, like, made this green. You know, something. But now that we've seen Rick, and we've seen that, we're going to look at the portal gun. Then we'll look at his abilities. So he has a portal gun. It says, place the portal portal token on a square a character can see within 2 squares. Treat the square containing your portal gun as part of your starting area. So we're going to get a little portal token. So black or white, depending on which side you're playing. So that's definitely, it's not what I thought that ability was going to do. I thought it was going to be more like shoot the guns, make a portal somewhere, and then you can travel to that like spot. Or I would have even said, place a portal token down, like somewhere where you can see, and then like you can spend one to walk to it, or yeah, something like that, like a teleport almost. But yeah, within 2 squares, so it's kind of neat though, because that way if you're playing, you can go somewhere on the map, shoot your portal token out, then if you get KO'd ever, or you interact with something that returns you back to your starting area, you can return back to that portal. So you can start kind of wherever you need to start, or closer to what you might need to. So that's interesting. That's definitely cool. Alright, so now we got Rick Sanchez. He's got Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. If Rick is your last character taking a turn around, he may give Rick Sanchez status card to an ally in 2 squares he can see. So if you let him go last, he can kind of survey the thing. He can give out status cards. We'll look at those in a second. He got a couple of them. He's got Get Swifty. An adjacent ally may do a basic action. Rick may do a basic action, limited once per turn. So yeah, that's helpful. Belch. Challenge 2, shifting opponent's ability token up 1 number on their cooldown track. And Irresponsible Genius. Move 2, give Rick Sanchez a status card to an ally within 2 squares that Rick can see. She's going to hand out these status cards. One thing to remember when looking at this set though, I think this came out at most either when Season 2 had been announced or during Season 2. But it wasn't like, by now there's Season 5 is coming out at this point. So there's a lot of other content and other things they could have, got on. That's something like, why did they use that or this? It's not just maybe because they're the most popular and most well-known things, but it's also because it's the time it was made. Alright, so his first status card is called Dark Matter. It says discard before moving to move 2 extra squares. Your opponent takes 1 of your unspent ability tokens and places it 2 on the cooldown track. So you can. It's interesting because now you can give this to an ally using 1 of his 2 abilities, either Irresponsible Genius, or Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. But that be at least 2 spaces away. So what it does is before you move, you can move 2 extra squares, but an opponent gets to use 1 of your tokens out of it. So it's a little 50-50. Do you really need that extra move or not? Combat Suit. Discard before challenging to roll 2 extra dice. Your opponent takes 1 of your unspent ability tokens and places it on 2 in your cooldown tracker. And Ray Gun. Discard to add 2 to the range of your challenge. Your opponent takes 1 of your tokens and puts it on the 2. So all of them have the hindrance of an opponent gets to choose 1 of your unspent ability tokens and place it on the 2 on your track. But they give you extra abilities to do stuff. So you can have extra range or extra 2 extra dice, or 2 extra moving. And the thing is, you can basically keep them equipped until you're ready to use them. You don't have to do it as soon as you do one of those things. You can decide whether it's worth it. Alright, so that was our Funkoverse Rick and Morty set. This is again one of the earlier sets that they made. It'd be kind of neat if I would love if they kept expanding on some of these, made an extra box set. So we could get some of the other family members, like do another 2-pack or like a 4-pack, so we could get the other family members. Like the fourth person could be, I don't know, it could be anybody. It could be like a Mr. Meeksies would be kind of interesting. Bird person. Plenty of characters to do. But yeah, it'd be neat if they added more characters and more things to this. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.